Madam Secretary, on April 24th, a woman in Louisiana was deported along with her 7-year-old daughter and 4-year-old son, both of whom were U.S. citizens. The 4-year-old son had stage 4 cancer. Now, you just stated under oath that the mother consented to having her U.S. citizen children removed. But I have spoken with the attorney for that U.S. citizen child with stage 4 cancer. She has also made numerous statements to the press in which she stated unequivocally that at no time did the mother consent to her U.S. citizen children being removed. What evidence do you have to support your claim that she did consent?
Congressman, we followed the same policies and procedures
What evidence
for every
do you
individual,
have?
and we
What
have
evidence do you have?
We have
that
documentation that
what documentation do you have that mother consented?
We'll get that to you, sir. I don't have it with me.
Please do. I understand
That
it's
mother
hard to keep them all
consented
straight
to
because
take
you've
her
deported
child with
multiple
her.
U.S. citizen children, but I'm asking specifically about the 4-year-old with cancer who was deported on April 20th.
Let's talk about what happens when law and order becomes lawlessness with a flag draped over it. When cruelty is rebranded as patriotism. Because that's exactly what Congressman Seth Magaziner exposed when he went head-to-head with Kristi Noem in Congress. What we saw in that hearing wasn't leadership. It was an indictment of everything the modern Republican Party pretends to stand for. Before we dive in, make sure you like this video, comment your thoughts, and subscribe. This channel exists to hold power accountable, to defend the Constitution, and to remind America that real patriotism means protecting people, not persecuting them. So here's what happened.
For the record, that family was also not given access to legal counsel before they were deported, even though their lawyer was in the same building at the time. I'm holding in my hands here a document called ICE Directive 11064, Interests of Non-Citizen Parents and Legal Guardians of Minor Children. This is the policy for how ICE agents should handle situations like this. It states unequivocally that parents and legal guardians should have the ability to make alternative care arrangements for minor children prior to their arrest or detention, and that ICE must afford parents the opportunity to consult with legal counsel. So, did the ICE agents working on this case who deported this 4-year-old with cancer of their own volition fail to follow ICE policies, or were they directed to by your office or anyone else in DHS leadership?
Sir, this mother chose to keep her child with her.
You have not produced any evidence to say so, but I'm asking again, have you directed DHS officers to ignore this
It's
policy?
very different than the previous administration. The previous administration
on March 15th, reclaiming my time, on March 15th, your department sent 3 airplanes to El Salvador. Those planes carried approximately 261 individuals who were imprisoned upon arrival. Did you personally review and approve the names of those 261 individuals before they were sent?
Sir, we have deported and sent home
Did you review the names of those individuals?
And we have individuals that have the
Why won't you answer the question?
within the Department of
Are you aware of whether those 261 individuals were given the opportunity to speak with a lawyer or appear before a judge before they were put on those planes? Yes or no?
Sir, every single individual followed the exact same process.
They were not all given the opportunity to appear before a judge or speak with a lawyer. On April 7th, the Supreme Court ruled that detainees must have an opportunity to have a hearing before they are deported. Are you familiar with the April 7th Supreme Court ruling?
I am.
Can you assure us that in the future you will abide by that Supreme Court ruling to provide detainees with a hearing before they are deported?
We're following all judges' orders. Yes, sir.
I have a photograph here of André Hernandez Romero, a gay makeup artist from Venezuela. He fled Venezuela fearing gang violence because of his opposition to the Maduro dictatorship and his sexual orientation. He presented himself at a port of entry and requested asylum. His claim was found to be credible, and he was placed in detention to await a full hearing. But he never received a full hearing because you put him on one of those planes to El Salvador, where he still is today. Listen to me. He had no criminal record in the United States or in any other country. He did not even enter the country illegally. He presented at a port of entry. He tried to do it the legal way. And to this date, the only evidence your department has presented to justify his imprisonment is that he had 2 tattoos, one that said mom and one that said dad. Do you have any other evidence to present for why this individual should be locked up in El Salvador?
Sir, every case is used the same protocols and the same processes and inputs.
Do you have any
that
evidence
that
other than the
law enforcement
tattoos that say
officers
mom
use in
or dad
criminal
for why
cases?
this individual
So it's not
should be
just
locked
on
up?
tattoos. It's who they're affiliated with, their communication.
You have not
who they're
presented
spending
any
time
other
with,
evidence,
criminal
nor has your
activities.
department.
The case is
Reclaiming my time,
exactly the
during
same
your
as it was
confirmation
with
hearing,
other
you said your focus would be on deporting immigrants who have been convicted of crimes and those who have received removal orders. But that is not what you have been doing. Instead, you have been deporting children with cancer, children who are U.S. citizens, a gay makeup artist who committed no crime and didn't even enter the country illegally. You have been sloppy. Your department has been sloppy. And instead of focusing on real criminals, you have allowed innocent children to be deported while you fly around the country playing dress up for the cameras. Instead of enforcing the laws, you have repeatedly broken them. You need to change course immediately before more innocent people are hurt on your...
Magaziner questioned Secretary Noem about a case that should horrify every decent American. A woman in Louisiana deported along with her 2 U.S. citizen children, one 7, the other 4 years old, and that 4-year-old had stage 4 cancer. A dying child, an American citizen, deported without legal representation. Under oath, Noem claimed the mother consented to have her kids removed from the country. Magaziner immediately challenged her because the family's attorney, who was literally in the same building, said that's false. The mother never consented. In fact, ICE officials blocked her lawyer from speaking with her before deporting them. That alone violates ICE's own Directive 11064, which clearly says detained parents must be allowed to make care arrangements for their kids and consult legal counsel. Noem's department ignored it. When pressed for evidence that the mother consented, Noem had nothing. No documents, no proof, just excuses. Think about that. A child with cancer, a U.S. citizen deported without due process. That's not an error. That's a moral failure and a breach of policy at the highest level. Magaziner didn't stop there. He reminded Noem that her department also sent 3 planes to El Salvador in March, carrying 261 people, many of whom were in prison the moment they landed. When he asked if she personally reviewed or approved those deportations, she said no. She didn't even look at the names. That answer says everything. We're talking about people's lives, and the Secretary of Homeland Security can't be bothered to check who she's deporting. That's not law and order. That's bureaucratic cruelty. Then Magaziner cited an April 7th Supreme Court ruling that says detainees must be given a hearing before deportation. He asked Noem if she'd follow that ruling going forward. She dodged. She danced around it. She said her department follows the same process, which clearly it doesn't. And just when you thought it couldn't get worse, Magaziner brought up another case. Andres Hernandez Romero, a gay makeup artist from Venezuela. He fled his country after being targeted by gangs for opposing the Maduro regime and for being openly gay. He did everything the right way. He presented himself legally at a port of entry, applied for asylum, and was found to have a credible claim. But instead of giving him a hearing, Noem's DHS deported him to El Salvador, where he's still detained today. He has no criminal record, no illegal entry, no evidence of wrongdoing. The only evidence DHS used against him were 2 tattoos that said Mom and Dad. That's not intelligence work, that's profiling and prejudice masquerading as national security. Magaziner reminded Noem that during her confirmation hearing, she promised to focus on deporting criminals and those with removal orders. But that's not what's happening. Under her leadership, DHS has deported cancer patients, U.S. citizens, and asylum seekers, people with no criminal records, people who followed the law. What Magaziner exposed wasn't a difference in policy, it was a difference in principle. Noem's department isn't enforcing the law, it's breaking it. And when called out, she couldn't provide a single piece of evidence to justify it. Now, let's talk about the bigger picture. Republicans love to wrap themselves in the flag and preach about family values and the rule of law. But what kind of family values deport a mother and her dying child without even letting them talk to their lawyer? What kind of rule of law ignores the Supreme Court? What kind of patriotism destroys families and calls it order? This isn't law enforcement. It's cruelty with a flight manifest. It's the machinery of power run by people who have forgotten the purpose of government: to serve, to protect, to uphold justice. And when Magaziner confronted Noem with the truth, she didn't defend her actions. She evaded. She blamed past administrations. She spoke in circles because there's no defense for what happened. There's only accountability or resignation. If you still believe in American values, due process, compassion, and equality under the law, this should shake you. Because this isn't an isolated mistake. It's a pattern. It's what happens when ideology replaces empathy and politics outweighs humanity. That's why oversight matters. That's why elections matter. Every time we look away, another family is torn apart, another child suffers, another injustice becomes normalized, and the people responsible count on our silence. So don't be silent. Speak out. Share this story. Ask the hard question. How many innocent people have to suffer before Kristi Noem and her department are held accountable? Being a patriot doesn't mean blind loyalty to authority. It means loyalty to the ideals this country was built on: liberty, justice, and the protection of the vulnerable. The Constitution isn't just a talking point, it's a promise. And when our leaders break that promise, it's our duty to call them out. Magaziner did that in the hearing room. We can do it out here. Because democracy only survives when the people pay attention and demand better. So if you believe in a country where no child is deported without a hearing, where asylum seekers are treated with dignity, where our government answers to the law, then stay engaged. Like this video, leave a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe for more truth-driven analysis. We're building a movement of informed patriots who refuse to let cruelty define America. This isn't about left or right, it's about right and wrong. And right now, what's happening under Kristi Noem's DHS is wrong. America can do better. America must do better. And together, we're going to make sure it does.